Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I would like to introduce you a new game. Basically, this is the Falcon 4 Elite Force, which has been published or released by the company named Lead Pursuit in 2005. Basically, 7 years after the Microprose released its version of the Falcon 4. This game is based on the original Falcon 4 from Microsoft. It just vastly improved its engine, the graphic side, the AI of the opponents, weapons, and it basically brings new and better stable multiplayer lobby. So it's very useful when you would like to start flying Falcon with someone else. It's very stable and it's pretty much very user-friendly. And it brings also a new battlefield, which is the Balkans theater. So it also contains a dynamic campaign, and it's about the war in Balkan in 1993 and 1995, basically. Here you can select the not like in the original Falcon, you can select the old Korea, which is the theater which was in Falcon 4. Then there is a slightly modernized the Korea 2005, where you can meet some more advanced enemies, and also the South Korean forces are slightly updated to the standards of 2005. And there is also this Korea 2010, which contains a lot of modern aircrafts in the North Korea and in the South Korea as well, including such things as Sukhoi 27s, some newest variants of MiG-29, for example, or the Su-39, for example. So lot of modern aircrafts. The same stands for Balkans. The Balkan is like the original set of armies which were in 1993, 1998 over the Balkan when Serbia attacked their neighbor countries. Then there is the Balkan 25 and Balkan 2005 and 2010, which basically again brings some more modern, more advanced weapons on the Allied side and also on the enemy side as well. For example, you can meet an SA-10, which is S-3000, for example, the very modern Russian or Soviet SAM-site, and so on. And on the Allied side, you can basically fly in this 2010. You can fly the campaign, for example, on F-22 Raptor or Lightning II, for example. So that's new here. For those who start with this game, basically I have my old logbook here. The colonel. I don't know, it's like 600 flight hours here, some couple of medals, including some of these ribbons. I will keep flying with this my old logbook here. Do not want to start any new, just to stack up some flight hours on top of this. In my videos, which will be related to this Falcon 4 Elite Force, I will go slightly or slowly through all these training missions, just to show you how the game performs. What should you do in these missions? What is the goal of the mission and how to complete it? And before you start, I maybe will go through some of these settings. So basically the skill level is set to Ace, flight model accurate, it's the best here, avionics realistic, weapon effects accurate, autopilot 3-axis, air refueling realistic, padlocking realistic. I just slightly increased the ACMI file That's just because that's the file which is recording your flight. You can pretty much record your flight and then see what shot you down, how enemy was maneuvering related to you, and so on. So you can do some like pretty detailed debriefing after your mission. That's why I increased this size of the file. I just skip the intro movie. You can go through it if you want. It's a really nice intro. And I simply switched off the update check just because there are no new updates. Last build, it's from 2008. It's the update or version 1.013. Basically, that's the last patch which has been released by the Lead Pursuit. All settings are off. Basically, just I'm using the smart scaling, which allows you to see your enemies. It's it's not a cheat, how to say it. It's basically the monitor has some limits, but your eyes doesn't have such limits. So basically, this is slightly like moving the view on a monitor, like to be what you can see by your eyes, basically. From the graphical perspective, I'm using my primary driver, Full HD resolution. This is the difference between the old Falcon 4 and this Elite Force. You can simply set up higher resolutions here and the cockpit will be still like the normal. Some ultra textures, canopy cues. I'm using both the reflections and the lift line as well, just to help me identify where my look or my view is heading. Sound is, I didn't change nothing here, but the music, just because it's very loud in the menu. About the controllers, I'm using like my normal flight stick X52 from Cytec, a Pro variant. So everything's set up here. All the axes which I can set up. And from the keys perspective, all what you need basically for flying, or what I'm using to fly this simulator, is just a few keys which are mainly used during your flight. Basically, that's the fire gun. It's set up on a joystick. I will just go through the joystick buttons and you will see what I set up on the joystick. All others will be set up directly by the keys, like by default. It's not assigned to my joystick, so I'm using the keyboard for them. Or you can click in the cockpit for what you need. Basically, it's up to you. So basically, it's a fire gun. Then it's a space or pickle for the releasing bombs, shooting missiles. Then there is this button for cycling air-to-air hard points. Basically, it's switching me to the air-to-air mode and switching between the AMRAAMs and Sidewinders or any type of AMRAAMs. Then there is this key for switching between the air-to-ground weapons, and it's also switching me to the air-to-ground mode. If I want to go back to the navigation, that's also here. So it's the instrument control panel navigation. So that's return me to the navigation. I use also a joystick for the night vision goggles, or how to pronounce it. Sorry for my pronunciation. I'm not a native speaker, as you already know. So that's the night vision, and then the EZM. From the other keys I'm using, it's the air brake, it's the wheel brake on my joystick, and the landing gear. And there are the cursor keys, like to move my cursor on the radar. And last but not least is the just to move my head left, right, center, up, down, and so on. It's on my HUD. I'm moving it now, but it's not changing here in the menu. It's not just the key, it's automatically set up for the joystick. And I'm also releasing some chefs and flares by one of my buttons here on the joystick. So that's the right side. When I go to the left side, the thrust handle, there is the key for the steer point next, steer point preview. So that's basically it. Another key for changing the missile hard points. If I want to shoot from the left or right side first, then from the other side. Basically, that's what I'm using. Then there is a button for changing the field of view of my Mavericks. A key for Sidewinder or the Maverick uncage, or let's say activate the heat seeker. Then a key for TMS up, which basically designates your target on the radar. And the radars return to search when I'm releasing the target. So that's two buttons very close to each other. I have here another knob with three like how to say it, 3 ways how to use it. One is like I'm using it for the AVAX command. It won't be displayed correctly here. Okay, it's AVAX command. One is for declaring targets, other is for asking for a picture, and last is for asking for a threat aircraft. So that's what I'm using, like the hotkeys. It's on the keyboard like the menu which is under the Q key. So it's Q, Q1, Q2, or double Q and again 1. So that's all keys what I'm using here. If I want to go for this first training mission, which is just the basic handling, I'm again going to confirm it. Maybe I might go through the ramp start here. It's a takeoff mission from the Brindisi airport, just a small circle around this part of this South Italy. Let's check quickly my weapon loadout. Maybe I'm gonna pick up some fuel tanks, some AMRAAMs just on my wingtips, so it doesn't look so sad. Oh, I'm able to carry a nuclear bomb here in this training mission, so that's that's the nuclear bomb. B61, and I can carry 3 of these just in this training mission. But I'm not gonna do this. Oh, the status is already in flight, so I no matter what I select here, I won't be able to press the O key or confirm button. I can just press the cancel button just because it's already in the air, this mission. So let's quickly go through this mission. Let's press the fly button, and I will be just in the middle of the air, flying around these steer points. That's the wall, like the first training mission. That's it. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so basically this is the main instrument panel of the F-16. Seems like block 52 to me. As you can see, the graphics is very nice. It looks more beautiful, better than the original Falcon 4. When I go to the outside view, it's a 2-seat variant of the F-16, so D variant. I have some special camouflage here on my aircraft, just to look more beautiful. Okay, so that's how this game looks like. If I switch the frames per second, you can see that it's pretty stable, and on machines today it offers like nice frames per second. Probably I've limited them to some 77 or something like that, like the top. It's not necessary to go any higher in this game. I can easily move my view to all sides to see everything properly here. Maybe if I go through all these like main instruments, this is the head-up display. Basically, you can see the gun cross here. It's the point where the gun is currently aiming. If I move up and down, you can see that it goes up and down as well. So that's the gun cross. Below it, this small like aircraft from behind, it's the flight path marker, which shows you where your currently aircraft is heading. It's different than the gun cross. The difference between the gun cross and the flight path marker is the angle of attack. Basically, if you are flying very sharp, it's a big difference between the gun cross and where the actual aircraft is heading. If I put the flight path marker here into the sea, it's the exact point where the aircraft will hit the sea, so crash in this specific place. It's very useful when you try to land. It's necessary just to place this flight path marker on the threshold of the runway, and you will be easily able to land. Every time you know where your aircraft is aiming, basically where it is going to land on the runway. I will show you during the landing. The other thing which is moving here, now it's changing to the right side. It just shows you the heading to the actual steer point. My actual steer point is steer point 4. If I change it back to the steer point 3, you can see it's blinking on this HSD. It's blinking the actual steer point. If I change it to steer point 4 by pressing the S key, so now this steer point 4 is blinking. I can circle around the steer points 6, 7, 8, and again 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's all the steer points in this flight. So basically that's for the navigation. For switching steer points, you can also use this button here on the ICP panel, instrument control panel. Basically that's this panel here. So I will switch it back to the steer point 4 and head my aircraft to this steer point. You can also see the steer point on the HUD, on the head-up display. Basically, that symbol there in the distance is the place where the steer point actually is. On the left side, you can see the speed. It's the indicated airspeed in knots. There is the speed ladder. On the right side, there is the altitude. It's the altitude above it's the barometric altitude, and there is the altitude radar in the box, which is basically the radar over the terrain. So if there is a hill below you, your barometric altitude will be higher, but your actual altitude radar will be much lower, maybe just 500 feet, for example. If you bank your aircraft to the left or right, the altitude will disappear, like now. Or if I fly to the other side, it will again disappear, just because it's a radar altitude. So it's no way how the radar can adjust this altitude. If you are banked to the left or right side, the radar waves are not ricocheting or bouncing back to the radar, so he's unable to show you the correct altitude. There is also the pitch ladder. It says like 5 degrees, 10 degrees. If I move my aircraft up and down, you will see how I go up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, up to the 90, and the same the opposite way. Like if you fly upside down, you can see how it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and so on until 50, until 90 again. So that's it. Okay, here is the speed in the Mach number. So I'm currently flying at 0.93 Mach. That's the heading. So my heading currently is 273. If I move right, left, it also moves with me. So it's the actual heading of my aircraft. What else to say? Here is the instrument control panel. You can basically set up this like data entry display. You can use it for example, if you want to change your warning for your bingo fuel, you just press if you want to set up the bingo fuel, for example, you just press the list key, which shows you some menu. Bingo is number 2, so let's press 2. Set, currently it is set to 1,500 pounds, and the total is the current amount of my fuel in pounds. So basically, if I want to change it to 2,000, I just press 2,000. I press enter, and it's set, return. And once I reach the 2,000 fuel, I will be warned that my fuel storage is low. Let's switch to the next waypoint, waypoint 5. Let's slowly move to this waypoint. As you can see, this mission is mainly over the sea. There is a terrain on my left side, nothing on my right side, just the sea. So that's the ICP panel. Here on the left side from it, it's the radar warning receiver. Basically, if some radar, no matter whether it is enemy or allied, is illuminating you, it shows you some symbols on it. You can see the symbols here. Basically, if it shows like number 2, you know that SA2 is trying to reach you. SA3, SA4, SA5, etc. H is for Hawk, for example, 9 for Hercules, Nike Hercules system. So these are the allied systems. P for Patriot, for example. Then there is A for the, let's say, the normal guns, which are shooting like the artillery guns. Then A with 1 dot, it's a ZSU-23, basically it's a Shilka. A with 2 dots is the Tunguska system, anti-air. Then there is some Chinese type of system. I never met this in the real life, I don't know. Then there is the S for the ground search. Basically all the radars on the ground, on the airfields, for example, are using this ground search radar. If it is unknown, is U. If it is a ship, it's a ship. Attack aircraft, if it is equipped with the radar, it shows like A with the dash. Bomber is B with dash. AVAX is the S with dash. Active missile shows you M. It's very urgent. If you see M on your radar warning receiver, basically it means that you are in a big trouble. The missile is seeing you, is able to see you, and it's homed on you. Then there is the F4, F5, F14, F16, F18, and some mix. For example, if it shows like 29, it might be the MiG-29 or the Su-27, Su-30 family. Here you can see also some charts for the SAMs, like the range of the SAMs and the ceiling, which are able to reach. Basically the IR SAMs, like you can see here, the IR with the infrared locking or heat seeker are pretty much very short range, like just the 5 miles, like the horizontal range, and the ceiling goes up to 14,000. Basically, this is the maximum, 14,000 feet. So if you are higher, you are pretty much safe. The same stands for the guns here. Here are some artillery guns for the anti-aircraft artillery systems, some Shilkas, and Tunguska is this SA-19, for example. It's just 5 nautical miles to the range and 10,000 range for the missile. Okay, let me quickly check the situation. I will change my steer point to steer point 6. The very interesting and necessary gauge here is the fuel flow gauge, which shows you the actual fuel consumption of your engine in pounds per flight hour. So if I have currently 4,300 pounds of the fuel, based on this, I know that my consumption is twice as high, almost twice as high, so I will be able to fly just 30 minutes in such altitude, such power. If I reduce my thrust, it goes down. So if I fly on 90% of my thrust, basically you can see here my thrust. Or if I put it to the idle to 70, that's the lowest, or 60, maybe 70, 60. The fuel flow is just 8 to 900 basically, and you are able to fly. You are unable to fly on idle thrust, but if you put slightly 80%, you are pretty much able to fly it. My actual fuel flow is 2,400, so I know that I will be able to fly almost 2 hours in this altitude. If I fly higher, the fuel flow goes down. Basically, you save some fuel at higher altitude. If you fly at the sea level, your fuel consumption will go higher. In the middle, there is the speedometer, so you can see your speed here. The outline gauge shows you the knots. So basically, I'm at 340 knots. It's also visible here. Losing the speed just because I'm climbing, and inside there is a Mach number. I'm flying currently on 0.6 and something Machs. If I increase my speed or my thrust, it will go higher to 0.65, 0.7 almost in a moment. Okay, so that's the Mach number here. And then there is the altitude or altimeter, which shows you basically your altitude in feet. On the right side, there is the right MFD or right multifunctional display. Left side, left MFD. It shows you all what you need to. It's no need to change it during this flight. Basically, it shows you all you need to see during this flight. On the left side, there is my radar screen, so basically I can see what's in the air. Currently, there is nothing. I can see here this white triangle shows you the actual steer point. If I change it to steer point 7, it also moved here. So basically you can see, and this blue outline on the right MFD shows you the range of the radar where currently he is able to see. So basically this outline here shows you the angle of the radar. It's 60 degrees to the right, 60 degrees to the left. I don't know the degrees or the angles to the top and the bottom, but you can able to tilt your antenna up and down. But I will go through this in my next videos. It's not necessary for this first training mission. So as I said, this is the thrust of my engine. I can go above the 100 if I activate my afterburner. Then you can see here this afterburner. I'm flying on the full power, basically full thrust and full afterburner. It's 100%, but my fuel flow goes to 54,000 pounds per flight hour. So basically you're able to fly like this just for a couple of minutes or maybe seconds if you are at sea level. So you won't do that very often, or you will end up somewhere on the ground without fuel basically. So let's fly to the waypoint 7. Let's steer there. Okay, what else to say? I will maybe go through all these digits in my next videos. Maybe I will do a ramp start, so you will see how to basically make your F-16 alive on a ramp. I will just switch on my lights, just because I'm closing to my home base. I'm soon will be landing, so let's activate lights so they can see me. When viewing from the outside, you can see that my aircraft is just now it's red and green lights on it and some strobe on the top of the radar. So that is the light panel. Basically, all the panels here you can see have something written there, so you can easily navigate through it. So this, for example, is the manual trim. You can use it for to trim your aircraft. Especially if you were hit, you have to trim your aircraft just because you do not want to adjust your flight all the time. This is the external lighting panel. Basically, here you can set up some switch off the anti-collision lights. For example, here you can set up your flights to light steadily or steady or flash. You can set up the wing tail and the fuselage lights here. Air refueling is unable to. I'm unable to use it, and this is the master button for the lights. Here is the communication panel, the engine panel. If I move forward, this is the audio panel. This is the let's say electricity panel here. This is the threat warning, the countermeasures system here. Landing lights, I can switch it here. This is the lever for the gear. You can see the symbols of the gear here. If I jettison the gear, I will show you. Not jettison, if I drop or open the gear, I will show you. Okay, let's switch to the last waypoint. It's the steer point 8. And I can see there is an airfield in the distance, so basically that's the last steer point on our road. So we made a bold circle, and now we are going to land our aircraft. Before I do that, I have to ask the ATC for the permission to land. You can do it by pressing the T key, like tower. So this is the tower commands. And for the inbound, just press the number 1 key.
Cowboy 1-1, inbound for landing.
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 260 knots, turn left heading 065, vectors to final, runway 15.
Okay, so I should fly to 065. That's my heading from the tower. And my runway will be 15, which means that the heading of the runway is 150. So
Cowboy 1-1, perform landing check. Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 250 knots, vectors to final, runway 15. Altitude.
Okay, I can see the runway in the distance. I should fly at 300 feet, so that's why I'm reducing my altitude.
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 220 knots, turn left heading 060, vectors to final, runway 15.
Okay, 060 is the new heading, so the tower always gives you vectors, gives you altitude, and advises you to go faster, lower, so also the speed is there. But as there is nothing in the air currently, you are pretty okay to fly at any altitude, any speed. But in the campaign, you have to fly very precisely, just not to collide into anyone. It can be pretty rush around the airport during the campaign.
Cowboy 1-1, turn right to final approach course 150. Check speed.
Okay, so I should turn to the final approach course 150. So let's slowly head to the base, and I can see the runway. I'm perfectly aligned with the runway. When my speed drops below 300, I can put down the landing gear. So let's use the G key or this lever. Okay, there are three green dots, so basically my gear is down. Let's check it from the outside. So that's the landing gear. Now I should just maintain the speed at about 240 to 220 in this like phase of the approach.
Power cleared for landing. Runway 15. Tech gear down.
Okay, I'm allowed to land. I will just show you the missed approach now. I'm not going to land. Let's pretend I have some troubles and I will go around the airfield. So let's try to align my flight path marker. It's this symbol on my HUD with the runway. So I know where I will be landing. That's the exact point you want to land currently. And now let's just keep it on this runway. So that's all, and now I just need to adjust the speed. But let's pretend I have some troubles, so let's tell my tower that I'm aborting my landing.
Cowboy 1-1, aborting.
Cowboy 1-1. Contact approach for sequencing.
Okay, so I'm going around.
Altitude, 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 altitude.
Okay, so let's do a small circle around the airfield. And let's try to land again. By the way, on the top left corner of my HUD, you can see the current G meter. So it shows you the actual G you are flying. If you pull up, it goes higher. If you push, it goes minus into negative numbers, basically. 0 is like the normal level flight. Here on the bottom, you can see the maximum G you achieved during your flight. So it was 9.1 G. A very short specific moment. Okay, let's ask the tower about the inbound.
Cowboy 1-1. Turn right to final approach course 150. Check approach speed.
Okay, I'm allowed just
Cowboy,
to fly directly.
Abort landing. Vector 185.
Okay, I'm too close to the runway, so I should abort the landing once again. So let's abort it.
Cowboy 1-1. Contact approach for sequencing.
Just because I set up my low fuel warning to 2000, I'm still feeling pretty safe. I do not have to pay attention to my fuel status. There is still no warning of the fuel, but if I look there, it's 2700 currently, so I'm still feeling pretty fine. Okay, it's time to inbound again.
Cowboy 1-1, inbound for landing.
Cowboy 1-1, orbit for spacing. Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 290 knots, turn left heading 225.
Okay, 225.
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 300 knots, turn left heading 220.
220. The tower always adjusts you the direction just so you always are pointed to the correct point where the ATC wants you, like in a specific time. So
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 250 knots, turn right heading 240.
okay, 240 now. 240.
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 200 knots.
Looks like there is a weather change. Some fog is appearing here. The visibility goes
Cowboy
over.
1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 200 knots, turn right heading 050.
050.
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 200 knots, turn right heading 060.
060, okay. It's changing all the time just because I'm too slow and I'm not doing the heading changes on the exact time, so it's always some turning necessary before I have such heading. That's for it.
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 200 knots, turn right heading 220.
220.
Cowboy 1-1, descend to 2000, maintain 200 knots, turn right heading 235.
Warning,
Vectors
warning.
to final, runway 15.
Warning, warning. Warning, warning. Warning, warning. Warning, warning. Warning, warning.
Okay, this warning is just because my airspeed dropped below the limit, so I was below the minimum speed, or maybe close to it. So that was just a small warning for you. Nothing special. I've just increased my power, so I'm okay.
Cowboy 1-1, perform landing check.
Okay, gear is up still, lights on, so I'm ready to land.
Cowboy 1-1, turn left to final approach course 150, low to approach speed.
150, correct heading. Okay, I'm slightly left from the runway, so I will have to fly a little bit to the right now. Let's release the landing gear, or let's put down the landing gear. Okay, all three lights are on. The gear is out. Now I will just need to align myself with the runway.
Good morning, Cowboy 1-1, Brindisi Casale, power cleared for landing, runway 15, tech gear down.
Okay, check gear down. Check once again, gear is down. Now let's just align with the runway and let's give your flight path marker onto the start of the runway, and that's all what you need to do. And now just maintain the speed like I'm currently flying, something above 200. If you flare at the end, I will go to the idle and I will... Oh, it's fuel warning, so it's just 2,000 pounds of fuel remaining in my aircraft. As you can see, there is a crosswind, therefore I'm slightly off angle, but that's okay. The flight marker shows you where you will be touching down. Now let's go to the idle, let's flare a little bit. Oh, it's too much. and let's try to gently land on the runway. Okay, let's use the wheel brake. Let's activate the nose wheel steering, and all what is necessary is just to brake and get away from the runway, just to clear the runway as fast as possible, just because some other aircrafts might be trying to take off or land behind you. So that was the landing. Now let's just roll to some taxi. Maybe there to the hangar. Okay, I will be going there. But before I do that, I will change my fuel warning to some lower number, just not to see this warning beeping on my HUD. So that's it. Please do tell me what is your opinion about the Elite Force. I pretty love this game personally. It looks amazing to me, very realistic.
Cowboy 1-1, Brindisi Casale, power, taxi clear of the runway.
Oh, I was just crossing the runway, that was my mistake. You always should ask ATC for permission just to cross the runway. There might be some other traffic going on, and it might cause into the collision. Okay, let's see where I am. I'm going to the stands there in the distance. As you can see, some textures on the ground are not well connected. There are some gaps or some minor moves, but it's an aircraft simulator, it's not the graphics doesn't have to be perfect. It's enough when the game is like perfectly simulating the aircraft, and the flight model is like very realistic here. Okay, so we are on this let's say taxi position. Let's switch off the landing light, so it's the frontal reflector, it's being switched off. Let's set up the parking brake, so parking brake activated. Let's switch off the head-up display. Let's switch off the electricity. I'm unable to move it anymore. Okay, so this is the electricity. That was the starter, sorry for that. So I switched off the electricity. Let's switch off the engine feed. And let's switch it off, like the engine. Maybe also the air source for the cabin. Okay, let's deactivate the ejection seat. Okay, deactivate it. And let's open the cockpit. And last but not least, just to give information that the aircraft is dead, just switch off the lights, and that's it. So we did a first mission. It was just a small flight around some specific steer points. We did a landing. Let's say one was like aborted landing. I had to go around, and secondly I was able to land on the airfield. So that's it for this first training mission. Let's go to the main menu. and let's call this an episode for you. Okay, so that was the first mission, basic handling. I will go through the takeoff in my next video. Maybe I will skip this max turn, it's just about the turning. I will then maybe move to the landing final approach, or the instrument landing, or the flame out landing, just as that. Okay guys, please let me know what you think about this game. Do let me know whether you know this game. It's not so known as Falcon 4 like from the Micropros, but I think this is much better like upgrade of it. As I said, it was released like 7 years after the original Falcon has been released, and it moved. It was a big improvement when related or when speaking to the old Falcon 4. You will see it in my later videos. The biggest improvement was in, let's say, the stability. It's very rare to see this game to crash in the single player and in the multiplayer as well, so it's very good for your multiplayer session. And please, if you want to see anything else from, let's say, the old Falcon 4 or maybe from this Falcon 4 Elite Force, just write me a note about it. I will go through it in my next videos. Thank you for watching this video. As always, have fun, take care, and bye.